Good afternoon, students, and welcome to today's lesson. This is 6-2 proportions. If you'll remember, in class today, actually, we talked about 6-1, which was rates and ratios. Today, we're going to take that one step further and talk about proportions and how we can use them. So here's the definition for a proportion. A proportion is basically two ratios put together, basically fractions, and these fractions are equal to each other. We say that they're proportional. So two proportional fractions means that this fraction and this fraction are equal to each other. You can check whether or not this is true by doing something called cross-multiplying. Cross-multiplying is something you can do basically to check to see whether two proportions are alike or not. So what we do is we have, in our example above, we have 6/9 and 8/12. What we want to do is we want to multiply across, basically. Cross-multiplying means to multiply diagonally. So here we have 9 times 8, which is 72. And this is going to be, if we have a proportional relationship, equal to 6 times 12, which is also 72. So because our cross multiplication produced this this correct answer, 72 equals 72, we know that these are like fractions. These are proportions. So what I want us to do right now, and sorry that this is cut off right here, it says, are the following proportions? So we can use our cross multiplication by multiplying the diagonals together to figure out if these two are equal. So if we multiply our diagonals, we have 3 times 10, which is 30. And that should be, if these are proportional, equal to our diagonals here, 2 times 20, which is 40. So we have two different answers here, 30 and 40. So I know that these answers are not proportional. So this is not a proportion. Moving on to this next one, we can multiply here. We have 80 times 5. 8 and 5 is 40, so that gives us 400. And if this is a proportion, it should be equal to 25 times 16. And 25 times 16 is 400. So I know that this is a proportion. So yes, this is a proportion. These are proportional fractions. And with our last one here, we have 24 times 15. 5 times 4 is 20. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 2 is 12. 4, 2. So if I add these up, I end up with 360 for my first product. And then if I multiply 9 times 40, 9 times 4 is 36, with the 0 is 360. So yes, this is a true statement, and these two fractions are proportions. All right, we can use this cross multiplication to help us solve proportions. We can use these proportional fractions to help us solve for a number that we don't know. So we're going to set these up and cross multiply the same way we would with the other problems that we dealt with on the last page. And then we're going to use our knowledge of algebra to solve for the variable. So we're going to cross multiply. So we have 9 times 4, and that's equal to our other diagonal that we're going to multiply, which is 6 times x. So if we simplify this, we have 9 times 4, which is 36, equals 6x. Now we have one variable, and we know that since these are multiplied, I can get the variable by itself by dividing. These are multiplied, so if I divide by 6, that cancels out. And what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So x is equal to 36 divided by 6, which is 6. So 6 is equal to x. And for these, I always want to check my work. So I can plug into my original equation. 6 divided by 9 is equal to 4 divided by 6. And this fraction should be proportional. One way that we can check this is to cross multiply. And if we cross multiply, 9 times 4 is 36. So these two other diagonals, 6 times 6 should also be 36. It is correct, so I know that I have my correct answer. X is equal to 6. Again, I have another problem here. I have t over 55 is equal to 4 over 5. Now I know that this is a proportion because they're equal to one another. So what I can do is cross multiply to find my answer. I can multiply my diagonals. So 5 times t is equal to 4 times 55. To simplify, I have to multiply. So 55 times 4, 5 times 4 is 20. That gives me 220 is equal to 5t. Again, this is multiplication. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5 to get my final answer. So 220 divided by 5, 5 goes into 22 4 times with 2 left over, and 5 goes into 20 4 times with 0 remainder. So t is equal to 44. So the proportion 4/5 should be equal to the proportion of 44 55ths. But I need to check my work. 5 times 44 is equal to 220. I already did that math earlier. And then 4 times 55 is also equal to 220, so I know I have the correct answer with t equaling 44. Let's find another good practice problem to do. All right. Here we go. The variable's in a little bit different place, but the way we solve this is the same. We're going to use cross multiplication to solve. So we have a times 9 is equal to 11 times 17. Okay, I can simplify my problem by doing the multiplication right here. 17 times 11. 1 times 7 is 7, 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 7 is 7, 1 times 1 is 1, and add. So 11 times 17 is 187, is equal to 9a, or a times 9. So to get a by itself, because that's our variable, remember we're trying to figure out what we could plug in right here for a. So I divide both sides by 9 to get the a by itself. So then I have 187 divided by 9. 9 goes into 18 2 times with a 0 remainder, and goes into 7 0 times with a remainder of 7 repeating. So my answer for A is 20.7 repeating. And I just checked this one in my calculator, so I know for a fact it's true. But A is equal to 20.7 repeating. All right, I want you guys to be sure you fill out your half sheet of paper for notes for today. That'll be all. We'll work on some practice problems tomorrow during class. Have a great evening.